When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Hey everybody, welcome to Big Valley Living. I'm Michelle and JJ is behind the camera tonight. Hey, we're gonna make pizza today. It is National Pizza Day after all. But we had already planned this and didn't even know it was today. But we're gonna go ahead and film our pizza. We really like pizza in this house a lot. Like, if my husband could eat pizza every single day, he would. But I kind of keep it, to pizza every week or two. So one of the pizzas we really like has a pesto sauce, and it's more kind of on the vegetarian side. And one of the craft pizzas, if you will, that typically run anywhere, like a cheapo is about $22.99 all the way up to about $50. And that's just not sustainable, not for pizza. So what we do is we go to the grocery store. In fact, I actually go to Whole Foods because I really like their pizza dough that they sell. It's the same pizza dough they use in the store. It's about $3 and it is very reliable. It always puffs up the way we need it to, and it's just a really nice crust. Another thing that we really like to use instead of tomato sauce, although we do use a tomato-based sauce and we will make a video with that one time, is pesto. We use the Costco pesto in the winter, and in the summertime, when we grow basil and everything and garlic, we will actually make our own pesto, and I freeze it in ice cube trays, which is about 2 tablespoons per. So anyway, there's that. And then, we got some nice uncured pepperoni today to try, and did just a little bit of cheddar cheese. We just recently found out, watching another video, that putting freshly grated Parmesan cheese on top of your sauce is a game changer, and it seriously is. You wouldn't even think about that. When we make a tomato-based sauce, we would actually add some extra garlic, but because there's a fair amount of garlic in this pesto, we're just going to go ahead. This is like the easiest pizza in the whole world. We grate our own cheese. We do not buy packaged cheese because it has that coating on it and it doesn't really melt very well. This is just as easy. Takes about 5 minutes, either with a grater or with a food processor. We typically actually do it by hand. JJ grates it on an old-fashioned box grater. And then we have mushrooms, a little bit of zucchini, both sliced thinly so that they don't water everything down. And we like artichoke hearts. So we have some canned, unmarinated artichoke hearts. You can use marinated if you want. It's your choice. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start with the dough. So what we typically do is we take the dough and put it in the refrigerator the night before. And the afternoon of, about maybe 3 hours before we're going to have our pizza, we put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of a glass bowl, and then we put it into our oven under a light. It says proof mode. It's really just under a light. In the summertime, you can just put it on the counter and it'll be fine. So this is a nice little raised ball of dough, and I'm going to punch it down just the tiniest bit. Really, it just gets my aggression out. Don't let anybody fool you. Now, this is how nice this dough is, everybody. You can also get this dough from a pizzeria. You can get dough from Trader Joe's. The Trader Joe's dough is not going to fill a traditional size, like a large stone. I've had this Pampered Chef stone forever. It's so well seasoned. You do not need to have this. It's just something that I've been using for the better part of 35 years. So anyway, I just pat it out. You saw how easy that was. When it's room temperature or just the tiniest bit warmer, then it just spreads out. I mean, there's no twisting and turning or breaking your back. JJ really likes this little gadget that we got from the Biggest Little Kitchen store in Jackson, California. And I'm just going to give this dough a little bit of a score, and that will just allow it to cook a little bit crispier. And then what I'm going to do is take the pesto. This is about 4 tablespoons to a half a cup. Somebody's going to do that measurement and say that is a half a cup, and I don't really know if it is or not. So I just spread it around. You do not want your sauce super thick. If it gets too thick, your pizza pie gets too soggy, and nobody wants a soggy pizza. We like a crispy bottom. So I spread it around. I take it to, I don't know, 1/4 inch to the edge. And then I give it just like a tiny bit of that oil on the edge with the back of the spoon, okay? I don't even know why I got that little spreader out, because I honestly don't need it. One extremely important thing to remember and to note is that if you just left that pesto on there like this and went ahead and baked it, there would be far too much moisture, because remember, we're going to be putting vegetables on there, fresh vegetables. We're going to be putting cheese on here. And what we do not want, again, is a soggy mess. You don't want, I just use paper towels, everybody. You do not want just all that mess dripping down into your oven, okay? And it's nasty. Believe me, we've made that mistake a few times. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Thank you, Mr. JJ, for that. And I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it on. I don't know why it changes it, but it seriously changes the pizza. It's really yummy. Okay. Then I am going to put my mozzarella cheese on. I may not use all of this. We just like to make sure we have enough to start. And mound it up in the center, and then just kind of spread it out to the edges. Again, you do not want to go to the very edge, because obviously it's going to melt, and once it melts, it's going to start getting closer to the edge. You'll be really surprised when you see the final product. That is absolutely delicious. I don't know why I have to be anal about that, but I do. Okay, so there we go. I don't know, it's about 1/4 inch thick. Now for the end of the cheese part, I'm just going to put a little bit of cheddar on here. It's pretty greasy. This is sharp cheddar cheese. It's kind of greasy, so you really don't want to put too much. I just kind of like the way that we get the 3 different cheeses and the flavors kind of come together. And actually, it just makes for a prettier pizza. Okay? And what I try to typically do is I take my flatter toppings and layer those on, and then the last thing I'm going to put on are going to be these artichoke hearts. Okay, so I'm not going to use all of this pepperoni, don't you worry now. But we do like our pepperoni, so I like to make it look pretty. And that's what we're going to do. This one package of pepperoni is easily going to get us through a couple of pizzas. That's kind of how I plan it when I buy it. And then there might be a little extra here and there. And yeah, see, this is how crazy I get. All right, done deal. Okay. And then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take my thinly sliced zucchini. We like zucchini in this house. And get a small one. Don't get something that's all crazy and overgrown and seedy. And slice it as thin as you can. I just use a knife. And this is probably 1/3 of the smaller zucchinis that you can get right now in the grocery stores. So nothing that breaks the bank. This pizza costs us like, and I'm talking about buying Costco pesto and, you know, some prepared stuff like the artichoke hearts. This pizza is like $11, you know, and it's so good, and it makes your house smell good. Okay, now the Carlsons love mushrooms. So I cut these up a while ago and they had just enough time to kind of air dry. So I'll just sprinkle them about the top. And I'm surprised my dogs aren't sitting right down below me right now waiting for a mushroom to drop, because they just love mushrooms. I think that JJ may have given them some cheese earlier. And it's extremely important with these artichoke hearts that you get them dry. Just throw them onto a paper towel and press them out. Nothing's too difficult. And you could use, you know, if you don't want to use a napkin that you're going to throw away and pollute the environment, feel free to use a tea towel or something. Quite frankly, I just want to get this done, and I just did laundry. If you do use your towels, don't use softener and stuff like that, because you don't want that on your food. There's your tip of the day. What do you think of that? That's worth a subscribe and a share right there. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of feather it and fan it out all over. So good. Kind of break it up a little bit, because then you won't get all the sogginess. We are almost ready to put this into a preheated 450 degree oven. This is going to cook for approximately 18 minutes. And I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to turn it about 12 minutes into it. That sounds kind of goofy, but that's the way it works best in my oven. So I set my timer for 12 minutes, and then I kind of keep an eye on it every 3 or 4 minutes until the crust is the way we want it. And that, my friends, is a simple, delicious gourmet pizza ready for the oven. All right. So I said 450 oven, this is actually 425, okay? So 425 Fahrenheit oven. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put this on the middle rack. I don't have anything underneath there, because the way we put this pizza together, we're not gonna have a problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in there and set the timer for 12 minutes. And I'll see you in a minute. All right, so we're at the 12-minute mark, and sometimes, you know, it just cooks faster than others. If you look right here, that's not really very done. Okay, I'd like to see that a little browner at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in for another 6 to 7 minutes. And we're not going to come back until we have it cooling. We're going to be putting this on a cooling rack for a few minutes after we pull it out of the oven to just kind of let everything settle. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Hey everybody. Alrighty, so it's done. Now, despite all of the precautions, a little bit of the oil came off of the pesto. It's totally okay. It's not too smoky or crazy. But my oven wants me to close it. And if that isn't a delicious pizza, you can get right on out of here. Okay. And there you have it. So we put our pizza out here. We leave it on the stone and put it onto like a cookie cooling rack and let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes so that it's easier to cut. You're gonna see we like it crispy. You can pull yours out sooner than that if you'd like. This took about 20 minutes. So when it's cooled off, we'll come back, cut it up, and enjoy.
3.
Awesome. So it's all cooled down, and I have cut it. So by letting it rest, as you can see, it's easy to go ahead and plate it. I like a smaller piece of pizza, and JJ likes a bigger piece of pizza. So a couple for me and a couple for him right there. And we really appreciate you coming along. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Sharing is caring, right? And if you'd like to see future videos and get a little heads up on it, go ahead and hit the little bell when you subscribe. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate your viewing.